Proposed speech, ma'am, your question. Missing from this conversation during the past year have been concerns that residents have about the environmental health of Venice Beach, which is the crown jewel of our city. And Mayor Garcetti, I know you're a big supporter of Hilda Beach. I heard you speak there movingly this summer at their annual gala. My daughter spent her entire childhood and adolescence helping Hilda Beach and thousands of others trying to clean up our beaches and eliminate pollution and protect it for future generations. So, for those of us who are not necessarily opposed to any homeless housing in Venice, but may be opposed to a project of this size and scope within a block of the beach, I'd like to know who at Hilda Beach or any other environmental organization has had the opportunity to fairly assess what many residents experience as a level of environmental impact on our beach that is not consistent with what we hear from officials about purported cleanup. So our residents are encountering on the beach needles, syringes, feces, trash, and while it's easy to say, as I know Mr. Bonin continues to emphasize that there will be cleanups, our experience as Venice residents is that those promises fall short, they're often empty, they're not productive. How, Mayor Garcetti, in all fairness, in good conscience, after we have spent decades trying to save our beaches, can you place a project of this size that we know from our past experience in Venice will attract many other transients who may not be part of that good location, but simply want to hang because that's the vibe and that's what's going on right now.
So, great question, and thank you for the work that you're doing, that your daughter has done for Hilda Bay. We've experienced the same thing along the LA River, where we're very proud that we had complied with clean water laws, and now people using that as a toilet has seen those bacteria levels go up, and similar issues to right here. So a couple things. First of all, if there isn't something here, there's probably, I don't know how many people are in the same initial catchment area who are probably camped and homeless today. But if there's no bed here, the presumption is that even as we try to do shared housing and enforcement and all these different things, that a lot of them are still going to be close to the beach, and as you've all experienced disgustingly, using the streets and the sidewalks as their bathrooms and all the health concerns that come with that. When folks go indoors, I think the only thing that neither of us can resolve tonight is either you think that if this opens up, it's going to be them plus whoever's in there.
Yes.
I get that. I get that.
The more services we get, the more additional homeless
No, I get it.
We want services, but we don't want to ruin our natural resources.
I'm trying to actively
That's
listen
not right.
to you. Let me finish the thought. So that's what you're saying. And our experience so far, and what we want to make sure happens, is that those would be folks that have, right now, that if we walked away from this tonight, this never happened, those beach concerns are there right now. So we have a chief who said that he wants to get back to beach enforcement. I support that.
Hey, great.
Agree, and the chief can speak to the vehicles issue that he's dealing with, but I think we're going to be able to get back that very quickly as soon as those vehicles
Tomorrow, please.
I love it. I support you.
Great.
100%.
Thank you. Yes.
1,000%.
Yes. Tomorrow.
I agree. So,
Let them drive on the beach.
but our experience so far wasn't that around El Pueblo that people said, because there's a vibe downtown too, some people hanging there and there's a little groups of folks. It wasn't that people said, oh, okay, those are folks that are in there, there's a population that replaced them and somehow doubled down on the sanitation issues. It was the opposite. It's been cleaner, it's been better for public health, it's been fewer folks, and we're seeing those encampments be about 50% less. So I get it, it's a logical, and like, I don't dismiss the logic of what you're saying. It's not been our experience. So far, thankfully, that isn't what plays out. And we would work very hard to make sure that Venice, like, you know, I don't dismiss any of these criticisms. And I know that in a year from now, if this was open and you said it got worse, that is 100% on you. I take that responsibility to them. If it gets better, if there's something where we say, look, there's 10%, 20%, 30% better, that is better than walking away from here and it being around the edges, nibbled away. Because our experience is for 20 years we've tried to nibble away around the edges, and it doesn't help beaches, it doesn't
Just
help.
a follow-up question, what guarantees would the neighborhood have? Because we have, unfortunately, those of us who are adjacent to St. Joseph Center have seen them promise, and it's in writing. And they don't.
A drop-in, drop-out place, or a place people can go for a shower in the streets. This is where they are for that period. And the most successful thing, I think what I'm hearing, I think from the people who are the most ardent advocates for helping people on the street, and folks who also want to help homeless, but are very worried about the neighborhood impact, is you want quicker solutions for people to be gone from Venice and not be living on our streets. Or happily housed someplace in Venice and with work and jobs and all that. This is the way to do that. Drop-in shelters are not. Services keep people alive and are humanitarian, and we can disagree whether they work or not, but I think we all agree it's not a long-term solution. This does get people to those long-term solutions.
Has Gilda May checked in on this? I can't imagine that they're loving what's happening in our beach right now. Who's insulting Gilda May?
So let me
I'll reach out to them. I don't
And
have
it does look like there's some folks here that can talk about that. I do want to give the other folks in line an opportunity to ask some questions. Thank you for yours. Let's move on to the next.
But I do want